there's usually a very easy way to clear up a lot of disk space on your Mac, because the iOS often files a lot of data under the term system data, which you can't really delete in the main interface, but you can very easily delete if you know the right tooling. If your problem is not system data, I'll also show you a second tool later on that can help you delete local files that you don't really need to have locally, but that take up a lot of space and that you just want to bring back from time to time, like videos or photos that you don't look at as often. And it's not the cloud. But first of all, how do you get rid of this system data? So for me, I have a 1 terabyte Mac, which has 155 gigabytes of system data right here. And there's a very easy tool to use that is Mole. It's completely free. And it allows you to basically scan your Mac for that system data, which is mainly just like old cached files that you don't need, like browser stuff, system logs, apps that you installed at some point and then uninstalled and some data remained on your machine. There's also temporary files that weren't cleaned. And all of this stuff can obviously be removed without you really noticing it in the day-to-day. And it's super simple to use. The only thing that you might be a bit scared of is if you're not that comfortable using the terminal. But it's, once again, you just have to follow these commands and it's dummy-proof. So what I just did is I hit Command space and I said terminal, and that will open, let me do it again, that will open this terminal right here. I'm going to make it bigger. And in here, I'm just going to follow the instructions here given by Mole. If you use Homebrew, you can just use this command. I do have Homebrew, but just to show it to you, because maybe you don't have it, you can also copy this second command below here. And then when you paste it in, it will fetch this, it will fetch the program for you. I do have to put in my admin password here. That's just a normal password that you use to log into your account. That's the one that you always have to do when you're being asked, that you always have to put in when you're being asked for permissions. And now you see here, immediately it tells me like, okay, you have installed Mole successfully. For me, it's version 1.44. And it now tells me like, oh, if you just put in Mo, you get an interactive menu. What you see here is it tells me, or it gives me the options of all the things that it can do. So I can immediately say like, oh, I want to clean the disks. I want to uninstall specific apps with all the data that's related to them. I want to optimize, so all the services that are using currently cache, so data that helps them move a bit faster, will be checked for which data is actually needed and which isn't. Generally, you can analyze your disk usage and then also the overall system health. So these are all the things that Mole can do for you. And if I press clean here, it will start deleting all the files that it deems not necessary. So right now it also tells me here at the top that the free space I have currently is 183 gigabytes, which we're obviously wanting to improve on. One thing here, you're probably going to get some system prompts that ask you like to allow access to specific folders. I've already ran a few of these commands, so I won't get them now. But if they come up, you just hit allow so that it gets the access it needs to do its job. And I'm just going to let this run through and then we look at the output after. Yeah, like now, for example, right, I just have this request, the terminal wants to access something. That's just Mole looking into those folders to delete files. And now, beautifully, my cleanup is completed. And before, I think I said 157 gigabytes of system data, and it even cleaned up 169. So before, according to Mole, we had 183 gigabytes of free space, and now we have 377 gigabytes. So 170 gigabytes that we saved. And here you see that similarly, I mean, it actually even says 396. It goes up and down because of, I guess, system processes running in the background. And we still see system data here at 108 gigabytes. But a lot of the data that was cleared was obviously also categorized into one of these categories. So that's all that stuff done. But I did tell you as well that if I now, for example, go in here and I look at Analyze, we're going to see that a lot of the stuff here is in my user library, right? So Analyze just shows you where's all your data stored, or where are all your files stored, and where you have the most data in there. And usually it's in places where you also store a lot of like videos, photos, all types of things that you might not access that much. So your Mac sort of becomes a storage place instead of a working station. And there's one tool that I created that helps you with that. So that's Tusk. And the idea of Tusk is that it allows you to back up your files. So for me, I create YouTube videos, I create Udemy courses. So I create a bunch of raw footage that I don't necessarily need all the time, but from time to time I do have to access it. So what I do with it is I spread it out across multiple external drives, and then when I'm done with it, and I know that my files are safely backed up, I just say I want to delete them locally, right? And so in this case here I have an example folder with 21 files and 270 megabytes, which if I show it to you in the Finder, looks like this, right? The example folder right here with a bunch of different files. And if I now say I want to delete everything locally from my machine, I can just do that. I get the 207 megabytes of space back, and I only have the empty folders left here. While if I actually want to have the data back, I also just need to click once, or maybe I just want to do it for one specific folder. I can just restore all the files with one click as well, right? So in this case here, I restored my music folder, and then here you see all the files are actually back on my machine. So that way as well, all the media files that I might have on my Mac that I don't actually need that often, and I don't want to store on the cloud because cloud is expensive, I can just distribute to external hard drives and then delete those files locally. So for Tusk, I also put a link in the description. There's a free trial for it, but usually you're already good by just using Mole. And also one thing, if you have watched this but haven't actually implemented it yet, what you can and you're scared of still using the terminal, there's also a GUI alternative, right? So that one costs, I think, $19 one time. So then you get a nice user interface to actually deal with this. But another thing that you can do is also you can run mo-clean with the flag dry run. That just means you want to run the clean command, but you don't actually want it to execute those file deletions. And what it will do is it will first of all run the same command. So it tells me like, oh, you have this much free space. And now it goes through all my files as well and shows me which files would actually be deleted. Obviously for me now, the amount is a lot smaller, but this way I can see what would be deleted before it actually gets deleted. It's usually not necessary, in my opinion. Mole has not deleted anything for me that was important to me, but if you want to be really sure, you can use that. So to summarize, 2 tools. The first one is Mole, right? It helps you with all the system data, all the stale data on your machine. And the second one is Tusk, that allows you to delete your local media files when you don't actually need them and just distribute it across your the different external drives that you might have.